Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pickleball and Politics, where I combine my quest to stay out of the kitchen with my passion for politics. As you know, there is no pickleball this week because I've been going to political rally after political rally after political rally. If you remember last week, I told you I'd be seeing the four musketeers. Well, one of my musketeers left, didn't he? Oh, Vivek. I really wanted to see him one more time. Actually, I had already been told where he was going to be, and I was planned on seeing Vivek like 3 times, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. But as you know, I already saw Ron DeSantis, and immediately within a few hours after Ron DeSantis the other day, I drove up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I got in line to see the former President Donald Trump. But before we get to the Trump rally, I want to tell you what the latest numbers are, released January 20th, just 3 days before the New Hampshire primary, the first in the nation. Suffolk University, they have Trump at 53. Their last poll, they had him at 52. They've got Haley still at 36. And Ron DeSantis is hovering at 7. Oh, poor Ron. I told you in my video for Ron, I just feel bad for the guy. Oh, how the mighty has fallen. Oh, everything went wrong for Ron DeSantis. It really did. So Suffolk has Trump up 17 points, which is, I will be surprised if Donald Trump doesn't do amazing Tuesday in New Hampshire, and it will be great to watch. So I got a notice from the Trump campaign that the doors would be opening at 4. I found myself in Portsmouth at 3. Having been to 6, 7 Trump rallies in the past, I know you've got to get there like 5 hours before. So when I arrived at 3 o'clock, I had no confidence I was going to get in. Well, much to my surprise, I was only like maybe 100th in line, which was shocking to me. Now, it was a Wednesday, the middle of the day. Portsmouth, New Hampshire is a very liberal town. I would even say it's a little beatniky. Is beatnik still a word? I'll use it. And it's a very liberal town, and it's a tourist town in the summertime. So I was sort of surprised. It was at a big hotel. It was at the Portsmouth, Sheraton Portsmouth Harbourside. And so I got in line. And if you ever go to a Trump rally, you know, you become fast friends with everybody around you. The guy beside me, probably late 30s, first time seeing Trump, he had a suit on. Oh, that was it. Slacks, jacket tie, and a suit. And I told him, no idea what his name is, but I sat beside him at the rally, and I stood beside him for 2.5 hours. I even held his place in line. No idea what his name was. That I don't even know him, but his mother would be disappointed in him because who the heck goes? It was about 25 degrees. The wind was coming off of the harbor. Let me tell you, it was cold. Originally, they told us the door was opening at 4. Well, guess what? Because Trump got delayed in New York during his trial there and was flying up, the event wasn't going to be starting till later, and they weren't letting us in till about 5:15. Well, to say the masses were freezing is an understatement because I was dressed pretty warm. I had a base layer, I had a sweater, I had a vest, I had a scarf, I had a big down parker, I had boots, gloves. I was freezing. I will say that the entrepreneurs that show up at these Trump rallies are amazing because they're selling blankets, they were selling hats, mittens, gloves, which are the same. And I have to tell you, I did buy one thing. I bought this really nice Trump hat. Now, it was $20. I'm going to tell you, I have been looking for a super warm hat when I walk in the morning this time of year, and I've gone to LL Bean and everything. I bought some hats for $50. They weren't warm. I kept on thinking maybe I need to go to like a ski store and spend $100 for a hat. I'm going to tell you, this hat is so good. I did put it on. I did wear it. It was $20. I'm going to tell you, every single person was buying one, including my friend in the suit jacket. Actually, he took the whole thing and put it all the way down because he was freezing. Finally, I told him to go inside the hotel and tell him he needed to use the bathroom, to go into the bathroom, to stay there, and to come out and find me in line. And that's kind of what he did. Anyways, I will say that the one problem with going to a Trump rally, unfortunately, it's so much work. It really is. You go to these other candidates, you just walk right in. They have some private security with them. But there's not a lot of security, and you just kind of wander in and do your thing. And it's not going through your bags, being wanded. And this was even far more complicated than a lot of the other events I've been to because it was freezing. Everybody had hats and gloves and mittens. Hats and gloves and mittens. Mittens and gloves are the same, so I shouldn't say that. But the big heavy coats and stuff. So it was kind of a lot to scan people. I will say that I thought the Secret Service was a little bit better than they have been at other events. But you got to go through the metal detectors and the whole bit. There was another friend I met in line, 18-year-old young guy, still on a semester break, had already graduated. He's not quite 19 yet. And he drove up from New Jersey all by himself. He said it took him like 6.5 hours and he didn't care. He wanted to see Trump, and I'll give him a lot of credit. We were in a very small ballroom, and I was told by several people that there were only 350 Trumpers, or people coming to see Trump, allowed in the ballroom. Other rest is media. It's media, it's media, it's media. This is the most media I've seen at any event. All week, the media in New Hampshire has been off the chart. Really, really, they're everywhere. So we get there, and I'm inside like at about 5:30 or so, and I'm standing there, thinking. I took off my coat, I put it on the floor, and I'm thinking this is going to be a long night. He's not coming for another 2.5 hours. Well, about 6:30 or so, after standing about an hour, all of a sudden bedlam erupted. And they came out and they started handing chairs from the stage down. Not folding chairs, regular solid chairs that you would see like in a ballroom, like at a conference if you've ever gone to a seminar or something like that. Hard chairs, they just start coming down. And at that time I was probably in the 7th or 8th row. And people start yelling, including me, what do we do with these chairs? What do we do with these chairs? And they're just like, sit down, sit down, sit down. Well, first they only brought out like maybe 8 or 10. So I start yelling, give them to the elderly, give them to the elderly. Because that's how I feel. You know, there's some people there 80 years old coming to see Donald Trump, give them a seat. It was originally standing room only. Well, the chairs kept on coming, and they kept on coming, and they kept on coming, and they kept on coming. And they passed out 100 chairs. I'm probably going to put my chair video. It's short, maybe 11 seconds. I'm going to make a short of it. It was crazy. I'm just going to say I've never, in all the rallies I've been to, that might have been the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I got a seat. But I don't know if that's good or bad, because by 7 o'clock or 7:15, I was sitting down. And I'm thawed out by now because I was literally frozen. And then you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And 8 o'clock comes, no Trump. 8:15, no Trump. 8:22, there's still no Trump. People are getting tired. They're getting hungry. They're getting antsy. The woman behind me was fighting with the woman beside me because her kid was kicking her chair. And oh, hell broke out. I'm going to tell you, they were calling each other effing a-holes, and it was getting a little crazy. Me and the guy, but the other guy on the other side of her were like, okay, calm down now. You've had enough. Okay, calm, like no more. Finally, I want to say this, and I didn't like this. This bothered me. A young woman came out, said the anthem, and I was one of the probably 4 people yelling, take off your hats. This is a mega rally. This is a Donald Trump rally. I shouldn't have to tell one man in the audience that he has to take off his hat. I couldn't believe that, but I did have to yell at them. Finally, 9 o'clock, Trump comes in. I will say he looks great. He sounds great. That was the night he said he felt 35. And I wouldn't say he looks 35. But maybe old 65 to 70, maybe. I don't know. Maybe no, actually about 68 to 74. He does look good. I'm gonna say he looks good. He's lost weight. He talked about New Hampshire. He talked about Nikki Haley. He talked about Vivek Ramaswamy endorsing him the day before. I'd almost wished I'd gone to Atkinson the day before, but we had a snowstorm. But that's when Vivek showed up, and I'm so sad. I missed that. He talked about Ron DeSanctimonious, of course. He talked about the border crisis, how they all need to go home. He talked about getting men out of women's sports, about the stolen election, about all of his indictments. He did mention his mother-in-law, who he was very fond of, passing away, that she was a great woman. He talked about how tall Barron is. And if you saw the pictures this week of the mother-in-law's funeral, Barron is tall. He, of course, the hot topic is the central bank, a digital currency, what's going on in Davos. He talked about how we build the wall and all that normal stuff that he talks about. I've heard the speech before. I've heard the things he said. Thankfully, he's not doing the silly snake poem anymore. Sorry, I was over the snake. Every time he'd say, oh, please, no snake, no snake, no snake. So it was a normal rally. I was so happy to go. I was so happy to see President Trump, probably the closest I've been to him. I was like in the 8th row. He was right there. It was a very small auditorium, ballroom. It was a ballroom. We probably got out around 10:15 or so. So we talked for over an hour. I have to say, I don't know where this man gets his energy. It is just boundless. He'd been in Iowa, and then he goes to court, and then he's been flying to New Hampshire, then he goes back to court, then he flies back to New Hampshire that night, then he went to Palm Beach afterwards, and he didn't have any events on Thursday, but then he's back in New Hampshire, and back in New Hampshire, and back in New Hampshire, and back and forth, back and forth. It's sort of amazing the energy he has. I couldn't do it. I went to the rally. I got in line. I went. I got home 11:30 or so. I'm going to tell you, I was exhausted. How he does this, I don't know. He did tell everybody, and I kind of do like the story. He told everybody, you have to get out and vote. You have to get out and vote. You have to get out and vote. Even if you're half dead in bed and your wife says to you, come on, we got to get out and go to bed. We have to get out and vote. You have to say, no, I'm dying in bed. And it has to be worth it. Even if you die because of you voting, it's worth it. Now, I don't know. He's kind of gone crazy with that, but I've heard him repeat it again. So to the voters of New Hampshire, even if you're on your deathbed, and I say this jokingly, you know I don't actually mean it. Even if you're on your deathbed, please get out Tuesday and vote. Please vote, even if you're half dead, okay? So that was about it. This is probably the last time I will see Trump until the general election. Unless I go to someplace that he is appearing, which could happen at any moment, because I'll go anywhere to see the former president. I enjoy seeing it, seeing him and seeing it. When I say it, I mean the rally. I would say the only hard part is you have to go so early. And by the time you get in, you're exhausted. And everybody comes with a whole lot of energy. But honestly, I got there at 3. By the time Trump came out, it was almost 9 o'clock. I was tired. Luckily, I had a little candy in my bag. But I was tired. I was hungry. I was getting a little antsy, too. You're afraid to get up and move. You'll lose your seat. So even if you have to go to the restroom, you forget it. But I loved seeing him. He looked great. As Donald Trump said, if you live in New Hampshire, please get out and vote on Tuesday. All right. You know where to get me. You can go to Instagram or to Getter and find me at Pickleball and Politics. You can go to Twitter or X, Pickle and Paul. That's P-O-L. You can go to my website, pickleballandpolitics.com, or you can see me right here on my YouTube channel, Pickleball and Politics. Give me a comment. You know I love your comments and I comment back. All right, I know this was a little longer than usual, but I wanted to get it all in one so you didn't have to do 2 parts. All right, until next time, I will see you again soon because I saw one more candidate. All right, I'll see you soon on Pickleball and Politics.